Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the latest installment in the saga of the talented George Santos. So he gave his biggest interview to date, oddly, to Piers Morgan, a right-wing sort of tabloidish English journalist, to really come clean for all his sins. And he summarized his main failing in doing a mea culpa for the world and the American public as follows. I'm a terrible liar. That's what he said, and in real sort of with a real pained heart. And I shouldn't laugh, but you gotta laugh because first, arguably, he's like a great liar. He lies about everything. He lies brazenly, he lies shamelessly, he lies about big things, little things, medium things. He lies completely in a congressional race in New York and gets away with it through the election. That doesn't sound like a terrible liar to me. But he follows up with trying to defend a few of his statements and basically suggesting they're not lies or people have been unfair to him. So, for starters, a little bit of an odd defense for lying about everything from soup to nuts, about whether you went to college, to were you on the volleyball team there and did almost all of his jobs, everything seems manufactured. So the defense seems to be, four of them were true, which is not a very robust defense of the overall charges. Moreover, here are the ones that he really drew a line in the sand and insisted with some umbrage were actually people shouldn't be taking him to task for. Well, so one was the keep my deceased mother out of this. So he has said, remember, he really appreciates and feels the pain of everyone from 9/11. His mother was actually there and died. Or maybe it's just that she was in the building. It's hard to remember because it's all complete malarkey. She never worked there, and it was completely fabricated. The Piers Morgan asked about this, and basically Santos's response was, "You have to leave my dead. Like, how dare you attack my dead mother?" And then but nevertheless, he kind of throws his dead mother under the bus because what he sort of suggests is she told him that, and so he's not going to question it. He loves his mother very much. And so the people who are assailing that bold-faced, complete hogwash are basically don't like mothers and are completely cold-hearted. As to why did he make up all the education, everything, he said kind of incoherently, but basically it's just the pressure, to have status in the world, which he didn't have, and that's why he needed to make it up. But, think about that. Why did you lie about your business career? Why did you, take all the money? It's the pressure to be rich in the world, the pressure to be status. And by the way, one of the revelations about him, he didn't simply lie. Some of the money he did actually raise in the campaign, he used to live completely, the champagne life as a campaigner in different states. So he not only, he basically misappropriated to live high. So his sins go a lot farther than simple misstatements, knowing misstatements. Now, the other big point about this defense, which is just gonna be torn to shreds. The only thing to do here is come 100% clean. So, but some of these other lies will come clean. But here's the major thing: he's not. He made it sound so So sometimes I lie, but I'm a terrible liar, so sue me. Except he's not just a terrible liar; he's a terrible fraudster. So all the lies he told, because of the way the American political system works, there's no legal recourse for, probably. Not so the different filings he made that represented money kept coming from sources that appear not to be at all bona fide. He made up everything, it looks like, and there are financial disclosure forms, FEC forms, and the like. And there are now no fewer than half a dozen prosecutorial agencies looking hard into these for possible crimes, not of lying, but of defrauding people. Oh, and for good measure, the Brazilian authorities have reopened a case involving his having completely defrauded an older man when he lived in Brazil. So there are 7 international jurisdictions all looking at Santos, and the lying is going to be even the smaller part of what he's going to have to answer for. And very ominously for him, the U.S. Attorney's Office asked the Federal Election Commission to stand down on its investigation. That is really ominous because the FEC sort of has, slap on the wrist capacity. The U.S. Attorney's Office has slap of the door as it's closing and putting you in a jail cell for years. But here's the really weird thing about the whole situation involving the talented Mr. Santos. We have in some ways like a perfect set of dual sins, the political system and the legal system. He's broken criminal laws, and he's been an unbelievable rascal as a campaigner. And just to follow through on that for a second, something like 75 to 80% of his constituents, he says, I'm going to keep serving my constituents. 75 to 80% of them say, no, thank you. You should resign immediately. But these two systems don't really connect. He very possibly will be convicted of serious federal crimes and go to jail. And that doesn't mean he's not a member of the House of Representatives. Under the law, the House of Representatives is the only body that can actually expel him, and they would need a 2/3 vote, which would mean that Kevin McCarthy would need to turn against him. Santos, of course, has been loyal to him, voted all 15 times for him to be Speaker. And there's even a suggestion that McCarthy actually knew about the whole stinking mess of lies and kept it secret so he could get one more vote for the speakership, which is, if not a crime, quite an indictment of what a cynical thing for the speaker to do. So there's a real scenario in which he gets indicted on crimes by any of a number of jurisdictions, at which point the Republicans say enough is enough, not out of moral outrage, but because what a piñata he is for the Democrats, Santos. He's just the gift that keeps on giving and they're loving making him the poster child. So the Republicans might say enough, and the pressure might become overwhelming. If they don't, then he finishes out his term, maybe in federal penitentiary, and then presumably he has no chance in the world of being reelected, though he might even possibly run. So that is the whole sordid tale. He's come, half clean, but in that situation, that's somehow in certain ways worse than coming all the way clean. He's given a couple sort of stiff arms on with stories that won't work about some of his lies. And he's looking at the real serious prospect of criminal charges here or in Brazil. Nevertheless, he is the Honorable George Santos member unless 2/3 of the House of Representatives votes to expel him. So more drama to be coming with the talented Mr. Santos. If you're liking these videos, by the way, please, if you don't mind, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps us a lot, and this is a completely independent media operation. So if that's something you want to encourage, please do. Up to you. But then back to, and finally on Mr. Santos, we'll see which of the several dozen shoes in his closet are going to drop next. Until then, talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.